One of our producers was saying, Jackie, telling me that she uses it all the time, Manish, so clearly preaching to the converted to a certain extent. But who's using it? What demographic? How often? What sort of trends are you seeing?
Well, we have about 40 million registered users who engage with the platform 7 to 9 times a day, spending 23 to 27 minutes a day. We started our world as a women's resale marketplace, and today we blossomed to be a full social marketplace selling women's, men's, kids' fashion, both new and used products.
How much has this helped? I mean, you're kind of on trend in terms of Netflix as well, because there's this incredibly popular program at the moment about sort of clearing out your klutz, Marie Kondo having her moment in the sun. Is that meaning that you're having your moment as well, as we all want to get rid of our things and perhaps just own fewer objects?
Absolutely. I think Marie Kondo has definitely been a great trigger this year. But what we've been seeing over the last 6-7 years since we started is a continuous sort of adoption of the reselling paradigm, which has then led to a social paradigm where people really want to have conversations. People want to talk. People want to understand from each other. And if you think about retail, what social commerce is doing is taking back to the old days where retail was all about people and not just about products.
How broadly is this conversation going internationally? What's your footmark at the moment?
We are currently only in the US, although we've just announced that we will be launching in Poshmark, Canada later this year. So it's starting to sort of go global. But if you look at larger marketplaces, if, for example, in China, like Taobao, they've had sort of prevalence of social and social interactions from a long time. And we're starting to actually see a reverse trend back in America and beyond for social commerce today.
Social commerce that you can make a tidy profit out of is the aim, I'm assuming. How do you make your business run? You're obviously helping introduce the buyer and the seller. Where's the cut for you?
We take a 20% cut in terms of the transaction, and there's no other fee. And in that, we provide you with everything from payment processing to helping take care of shipping, to take care of sort of dispute management, as well as any chargebacks and other things. But the key thing for the seller and buyer here is the conversation that we facilitate, the styling that we facilitate, which makes it much easier for them to actually transact, but also discover new and beautiful trends and products.
It's interesting, it was this time last week that I was breaking the news on air about eBay adding directors to the board. They've got, of course, some rather impassioned investors who are moving for change, but eBay has competition of its own, such as Poshmark. What's competition to you like? Is it eBay? Are there other startups that are trying to do the same thing? Where do you find the competition coming from?
So what we find is from traditional retail as well as places like eBay and Amazon. However, our approach has been completely different, which is to empower our community to sort of form a very large social community and in some ways democratize retail. So we have over 5 million sellers on the platform who've uploaded 75 million items. And what that does is it creates a level of diversity which can only be accessed through discovery. And so people curate items. For example, on a daily basis, our community curates over 18 million listings. That's very similar to what you see in Instagram and Pinterest, and not quite the same you see in other retail architectures out there. You
talk about diversity. Let's talk about diversity of a different kind. You're adding more diversity to your board, for example. You've got Serena Williams joining. Talk to us about that particular key hire. It obviously helps from a PR perspective. She's such an incredible brand in and of herself. But what expertise is she bringing, and what's the strategy there for you?
So Serena, we're so grateful to have her. She is, as you know, obviously a very, very accomplished, GOAT athlete out there. But really what she is also an entrepreneur, a fashion entrepreneur, a style icon, but also a champion of our entrepreneurs on our platform, our women entrepreneurs. And that's sort of where we connected at a very deep level. Many of her friends and community are very involved with Poshmark. She herself had been a user. So we think she brings a very authentic and deep connection to our platform and to our community. And that's very exciting to bring that voice on the board and help us scale to the next level.
Looking for any more money to scale?
Currently, we raised about $160 million. We continue to evaluate growth options, but our last round was in fall of 2017. We haven't raised any money since then.
And what's your best-selling kind of items? Like, what are the most popular searches for?
We certainly see trends sort of coming and going. So, for example, recently we saw certain brands being catalyzed by Meghan Markle. But if you were to look at sort of a very interesting category, it's kids sneakers. So we just recently launched Serena Williams' daughter's closet, and one of the hottest items selling were shoes from her closet, which is quite surprising, if you think about it, that kids sneakers are really one of the hottest categories.